We call the meeting of the November 23rd, 2015 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded. Is there anybody else in the audience recording the meeting? From the Telegram and Gazette? If nothing else, we'll pledge the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no public comments for tonight. We have public hearings. The first we're going to look into is the vote on a grant of an easement from National Grid at 110 Packagug Street, and that's at the Packagug School. Can I have the superintendent and Joe come up to the bench and sit and talk with us, please?
There is a member from National Grid here as well.
Okay.
Who may be able to answer some questions.
Great, thank you.
So first, thank you to the members of the board for hearing this evening. I'm going to turn it over, with your permission, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Fahey to give a brief description of what we're hoping to accomplish with this project.
Please.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. What we're looking to do, we're looking to establish an easement with National Grid to put a transformer in the right-hand corner of Packagug School in the back of the building. Currently, there's a pole there now, so we're looking to replace the pole, put another pole a little bit closer to our property, and then pour a pad and put a freestanding transformer base there. The reason why we have to do this is we have to upgrade our electrical service into our building. So we're requesting to install a 600 amp service. Currently we have a 400 amp service.
Okay, I was up there the other day and I took a look, and where that pole is and where all the work is being done, isn't there an easement there now because that pole is where it is, feeding the back of the building?
You would think that there would be, but I think this predates the easement laws, and I don't know if National Grid can speak to about this. The deed was recorded, I think, in 1947, so maybe there wasn't, requirement back then. I couldn't answer that, Mr. Olson.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions?
Not specifically on this one, no.
Okay. From National Grid, have you got anything that you would like to, please? Would you introduce yourself for the record, please?
Good evening. My name is Iris Price from National Grid.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here for the stub pole that we need that's on the opposite side of the street from the school. To run new wires back there, we'll have to guide the pole. Guiding the pole would be putting the pole on the opposite side of the street with a sidewalk anchor.
Excuse me 1 minute. This is just for the easement.
Yeah, this is just for the easement. Are you talking to the easement?
Okay. For the easement, if we don't have an existing easement in place, before we can relocate a pole, we have to make sure we have rights. Also, I see it's going to be a transformer pad, so we would need rights for that also.
Okay. Has anybody got any questions and comments? Okay. I guess the pole with the feed coming in now is all above ground. Is it going to go underground from the street in, or is it just going to? It's going to maintain the line above ground, and then will it go above ground to the building, or will it go underground there?
No. What's going to happen is the pole that's existing on the school property. Mm-hmm. We're going to be going underground from that pole to the transformer pad into the building.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything else?
I'm happy to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
I make a motion that we grant the easement as described in 5A of our packet, the legal document.
Okay, the motion's been made. Is there a second?
Through the chair, should we be closing the hearing before we take?
We didn't have a hearing here. This
Not
is...
on this one.
Oh, not on this one. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm still
Right,
listening
not a
to the
problem.
poll. I apologize. I apologize. but I will do a second.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded to grant the easement. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we have a document here in front of us that Ms. Grimo will witness us signing, and this is for the easement. Thank you.
And then you will do 2 hearings. So just make sure the person
Okay, before we get into the hearing, I'll wait for him to sign those.
I looked at the clock
Don't
for the
look at it.
hearing time. We're past 7:10, though, aren't we?
7:09. All set with that? Okay. On our next item, we have a hearing on a petition for a pole and wire location at Packagug Street.
Motion to open the hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this hearing is going to be on the pole location for 110 Packagug Street. This is the one that's going to be feeding the Packagug School.
Okay, this pole will not be necessarily feeding the school.
Okay.
It will support the wires that will be feeding the school. Okay, in order for the wires are coming straight down the street, and for us to cross over and put new wires back, we have to stabilize the pole.
Okay, and that's the reason for you going across the street now and not staying on the same side of the street as
Right.
the school?
If we was to stay on the same side as the school, we would need a push brace, which is you have a pole straight up and down, then you have another pole leaning against it. Due to, aesthetics, it's better to do a stub pole versus a push brace.
Okay. Now, is that, you're going to put a cable on that one for support?
Right,
On that pole, the new pole on Packagug Street at 110?
Right, you run a cable from the pole on the street in front of the school across to the stub pole, and then you have a cable running down to an anchor going into the ground.
Okay. Now, the cable on the sub-pole, is that going to affect anybody else's property in the area?
We're going to put a sidewalk anchor to make sure it stays on town property.
Okay.
So it should not affect private property at all.
Okay. Is there any other questions? When do you foresee all this taking place? I guess I'm going to ask the school department what their plans are for getting that going. I'm sure with the weather coming upon us that you'll want to get that done as soon as possible. What is your plans? Have you got a time frame?
So the most important step was to, assuming we're granted the easement, that Mr. Fahey would work with National Grid to find a convenient time to do that, obviously before the ground freezes if possible.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And there won't be a lot of disruption of traffic in that area with the poles being transferred and the support wires put up?
It should be minimum disturbance to set a pole.
Okay. All right. Has anybody got anything else from the board? Mr. Goodrich?
Thank you. Just to follow up on what she just said, just because I don't like shoulds. When you asked if it would affect any private property, your response was it's your intention to anchor it to the public sidewalk, so it shouldn't have any effect on private property. I'd like...
When we do a sidewalk anchor, it's to prevent it from going... When we do a sidewalk anchor, it makes the lead, meaning how far away it goes from the pole, shorter, so we can keep it on town property.
So you
That's the
will...
reason for a sidewalk versus a regular anchor.
So rather than saying you should be able to keep it off of private property, are you able to say we will be able to keep it off of private property?
I'm not the lineman out there doing the work, but we're looking for the easement for town property. They shorten the lead to keep it on town property.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Mr. Simonian?
So I just want to be clear, so are you saying there's a possibility that the lineman could be out there doing the work and say, yeah, we're going to have to
No,
put something on someone's
no, the engineering department stakes the location where the anchor is supposed to go, and that's where the lineman puts it.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Anything else from the school department, anything? Make a motion to close the hearing.
Is there any public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, is there any public comment on this one? Okay. Now close the
Make a
hearing.
motion to close the hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the petition as requested.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we have one more hearing on a petition for a joint pole location on Packagug Street. Have a motion to open the hearing.
Motion to open the hearing?
Second. Oh,
Motion been made and seconded, open the hearing. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And this is for Packagug Street in the vicinity of Burnap Street at 340.
Can we excuse the
Oh,
school
I'm
department?
sorry.
That's okay, I don't believe they have, they
Just
don't
didn't
need
want
to
to leave
leave.
Thank you. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone,
And
too.
happy
thank
Thanksgiving.
you. Same to
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. The hearing's open on the pole location for the 660 feet southerly from the center line of Burnap Street. Can we hear on the plans for that pole location, please?
Yes, hi, my name's Kelly Correa, I represent Verizon New England. Basically, National Grid's upgrading a lot of their outside plant. They're putting larger poles. They're removing all tree guys that they can, and currently, there's a pole directly across from this proposed location. It's got a guy wire going onto private property into a tree. So they want to remove the guy wire and place that to a stub pole instead.
Okay. Is there any questions, comments from the board? And this is just an ongoing project that you are trying to remove those guys from private property in the trees and put them into a stable position on the street?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anybody from the neighborhood here to speak on this? Or yes, please. Would you come forward and identify yourself?
My name is David Doherty, and I live at 340 Packagug Street. The location for that particular pole is right in front of the wall in front of my house. And I've already got one Verizon pole in my yard that's been a tremendous inconvenience for the 22 years that I've lived there, and I definitely don't want another one there. I mow out in front of the wall between the berm and the wall, and I just barely can get my 62-inch mower down that strip. And even if they put a pole in the middle of it, I'd probably have a problem getting a 20-inch mower by there, let alone a 62-inch mower. So again, I prefer not to have it there. I think there are other alternatives. There's been a cable attached to a tree out in back of the property that's been there for at least 40 years, and it's certainly been there for the 22 years I've lived there, and it hasn't been any kind of a problem at all. Matter of fact, that one pole that particular guide wire is attached to is probably the only pole on that entire slight curvature in the road that's actually leaning more towards my house, where the other ones tend to all lean backwards. So there doesn't appear to be any problem, as far as I'm concerned, with that pole. So again, I think there's other alternatives, and if they did put a pole there, they'd probably have to put an anchor right on my front lawn, because there wouldn't be enough room between the pole and the wall. Either way, I would say it's probably not a good idea as far as I'm concerned. I've got a very nice piece of property that I take good care of, and I would like to keep it that way.
Okay. Can you address that, please?
Yes, actually, one of Mr. Doherty's concerns was the anchor. They did agree they would set a fatter pole, so they don't need an anchor on that at all. I did speak with Mr. Doherty before the hearing tonight, and what we decided is, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to continue the hearing, and I'll send an engineer out. We discussed a few alternatives. I just have to verify that Verizon and National Grid would agree to that. Couple alternatives so that maybe we don't have to set this stub pole, but obviously I don't have the answers till later. If we can continue it, I can either come back and say, okay, here's what we're doing, or if we don't need anything there, I'll withdraw the petition at that time.
That's great. I would agree with that we come back and take a look at this and see if there's some alternative to that. Is there any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to continue it to our next hearing.
Okay.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded. Our next meeting will not be till sometime in December. Is that going to cause a problem with
Your timeline.
location, timing?
No, not at all.
Okay. The motion's been made and
Just under comments, I just want to acknowledge Verizon's willingness to do this. This is probably the second or third time that we've had a resident come up and request that they work with them, and it's worked out well in the past. And, thank you for your willingness to work with him and bringing a better plan back to us.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Our next meeting is going to be on December 14th.
Okay.
That'll be our next regular meeting. So we'll plan to have you back on that night, and then we can discuss this further.
All right, thank you.
So the motion's been made and seconded. Is any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have, under communications, information from the Chief Financial Officer is requested by the board last meeting on options for establishment of a conservation fund. Now, what this is a report that was generated by the CFO, Ed Kasanovich, that was at our request at our last meeting. There will not be any discussion on it tonight. It's for us to receive, take a look at it, and possibly for the 14th to, if there are any questions, we can have some discussion on it then. But it's only an informational document for the night, and take a look at it and be prepared possibly for the 14th to discuss it. Okay, thank you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to turn it over. You got anything you want to say on that report before we move on?
No, not at this point,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. And the Board of Selectmen general items, and it's to consider a request for the redemption of the property at 12 William Street. This was from the past, and we had some questions to be answered, so we will approach this now. And is there anybody here from that property?
Well, I think it's incumbent upon them. They're the petitioner, but yeah, I'll chime in.
Chris just went out there.
My name is Ernie Bostwick. I'm the executive of the estate.
My name is Robert Weiss. I'm in the real estate business, and I work with a lot of people statewide that are in unique positions like Mr. Bostwick concerning Massachusetts Mass Health liens on properties. I was not here during the last meeting, but there are probably 2,000 to 3,000 homes across the state of Massachusetts where elderly people wind up going into nursing homes, and subsequent to that, liens are placed on homes. The situation with Mr. Bostwick, I personally wanted to come here today because it's a very unique situation. I wasn't here last time, and I hope I'm not being repetitive, but Mr. Bostwick's parents moved to Auburn in 1979. His father passed away in the 90s. His mother went through 14 years in a nursing home and passed away in the year 2007. My information may not be 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. In the case of his family, They successfully lived here and paid their taxes for 30 years until the last spouse, his mother, passed away. And Mr. Boswick lives about 50 miles away from here. When his mother passed, he continued to make the payments to the town of Auburn and went through the process, the procedure, like anyone when their parents pass. He went through the probating and was literally about to sell this house. And the day that he was about to sell this house, it had no bills on it. It had no mortgage. And the taxes were current, and literally he got a letter in the mail saying that he had a $400,000 lien placed on this property by Mass Health. It is a legitimate lien, and it's for 14 years. Please correct me if I make a mistake. It's for 14 years of his mother being in a nursing home. He immediately called Mass Health, because he was in the midst of getting ready to sell this home. I don't want to make up numbers, but suffice it to say the home was probably worth around $100,000 at that time. Anyways, Mass Health said, sorry, you owe the money. The person that he spoke to at Mass Health did not exactly give him the correct answer. In the meantime, he continued to pay the taxes for a brief period of time. He put a tenant into the property, and the tenant was not the type of tenant that perhaps it should have been, and the tenant destroyed the place. And knowing that he had this humongous lien on the property, he gave up. I've worked with many individuals across the state that are in this position, and I must say that Mass Health couldn't get $400,000 off the property to begin with because it's not worth $400,000. But a lot of individuals, heirs to estates or folks that pass, are not aware of the fact that Mass Health does give credits for burial expenses and other incidentals. And when I spoke with Ernie Boswick and told him about this situation, and he told me his own personal situation, he had been unemployed for years. The past few years, he worked at Teradyne in a fairly substantial position. We hired Attorney Murray, who called Mass Health. Mass Health has taken their lien and literally they've approved the sale for Mr. Boswick, and they've agreed to give him some credits, money he desperately needs. But I plead with you all, if any of us were, I happen to know the law, but 99% of the people in the state don't. And faced with the same set of circumstances, unfortunately, if Mass Health would have sent out a letter and at the bottom said, you have the right to be credited for burial expenses, this, that, or whatever, yes, Mr. Boswick, if that lien never showed up in the mail, would have sold this house. More importantly, the city of Auburn was paid successfully for 30 years. They haven't been paid for the last 5 or 6, but not only are they going to get paid, because of this dilemma or problem, Ernie is paying the town of Auburn, not only to redeem it, but he's paying 16% interest. The town of Auburn actually gets a better investment return on people that are delinquent than are people that are current. And I apologize for making that statement, but the fact of the matter is, by him redeeming this property, he gets some dignity, he gets some respect. His folks did spend 30 years here, and the only reason they stopped paying is they died. And besides that, Mass Health has a legitimate right to redeem or get something out of this. And the city of Auburn is getting exactly what they deserve. They're getting what they always got, and they're getting interest for these arrears. But I've done this with many individuals across the state. I mean, there's plenty of precedents for this. I can cite examples in North Reading of a widowed individual that wasn't exactly all there, that stopped paying her property taxes for a year and a half. Also, there was a mass health lien. And I did a good deed for her. And she redeemed her property about 3 months ago. I can cite other examples in Waltham and other cities and towns across the state. It's a tough situation, but Ernie Boswick and his family deserve to get something out of this house.
Thank you, Mr. Reese. Mr. Bostwick, what is your plans for the house?
Given if the redemption of the property does take place, to sell the property, and that the buyer is taking responsibility for paying the taxes owed to the town of Auburn. So that would happen immediately, and subsequently the house would be sold to him.
Okay, is the plan to renovate the house, to clean up the house before it is sold?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any questions, comments from the board?
I do. I just am not sure how to phrase it, and it's for Mr. Kazanovich. Mr. Boswick just stated that the new property owner would be responsible for the taxes. Did I hear you correctly?
That is correct.
Yes.
No, I'm speaking to Mr. Kazanovich, our CFO.
Once if the property is redeemed to Mr. Bostwick, immediately it will go back onto the tax rolls. Mr. Bostwick would be an owner of the property for a period of time. He would be responsible for the taxes until such time the property is sold.
Okay, and so does this continue, Mr. Kazanovich, to incur interest till the current status?
No, I've been told by Mr. Chris Murray, attorney, that this transaction would take place. We put a time limit on it of about 2 weeks, that we would want this to be redeemed in a timely basis. At such time, I think when the property is sold, that would be part of the settlement cost at the time of the closing. Those taxes would have to be made whole.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
If I may, we did add some additional costs to the property as a result of some legal advice we needed relative to the redemption of this property, which has been added in the settlement cost. Additionally, we reviewed the property late last week. There was a hazardous situation that was raised by the Department of Code and Inspection relative to the well area. We had to take some measures to secure that so no one would fall into the well hole. That has been done. Those costs have been included as part of the payoff as well.
Mr. Simonian.
So if the property is redeemed 2 weeks from, if it happens tonight, 2 weeks from tonight, the town will be whole as far as all of its costs?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Goodrich.
Thank you. So, I mean, maybe I'm missing something here, the timeline, the sale of the property, but if we're looking at 2 weeks for the town to be made whole, there's an indication that if the new owner is paying these taxes, that we expect the house to be sold and closed on in 2 weeks?
It's my understanding, today is Monday, and because of the holiday, our objective is to redeem the property, writing a check to the town of Auburn for, I believe, $41,000 or $42,000. Mass Health would get their payoff. Mr. Bostwick would get his payoff, and we have a contractor that intends on going there and immediately working on the property. The property will immediately go onto the tax rolls, and hopefully will never go in arrears ever again.
if I may. Mr.
Yep,
Chairman.
absolutely,
So
please.
technically, you're a group, your organization, your agency, whatever, you're buying the property?
What I do for a living is I get involved in these properties and resell them. To be quite honest with you, it's not a very large profit, and I'm grateful to be able to do something for Ernie, and to be quite honest with you, I'm glad Mass Health gets something out of it. You know, having been involved with this business in numerous occasions, I mean, it is quite ironic that a $400,000 bill was created from this, but this happens all across the state. It is what it is. But essentially, next Monday, the intent is to make Auburn whole, and the problem that has been 5 years for the town of Auburn, for Mass Health, and for the Bostwick family. And hopefully in 6 months, that portion of the street will be in good shape.
I guess what we're looking for is an assurance that once this property is redeemed, if that be the decision of the board, whether or not that building will be turned around. And whether
I guarantee it.
It will be guaranteed that you will
Yes.
be doing that. Okay. Yes, Mr. Simonian.
All right, so I'm not sure, is the 42,000, that's the cost of what is going to the town?
Our cost, and Mary Ann, if you could help me, I had that written down, $41,432.18 is due to the town as of today.
Okay, and it seems like I heard a couple of things, so I just want to be clear on this so I can vote on this with a clear conscience. It seems like originally you said that money would be contingent on the house being sold, which you expected to happen immediately, and then it seemed like in the follow-up it was, regardless of whether the house was sold, that check was going to be written to the town.
On Monday of next week, if you allow redemption, the house will be paid for in full as far as the town of Auburn is concerned, as far as Mr. Bostwick and Mass Health, and within a week, there should be some licensed contractors with hammers and nails doing what they're supposed to do.
I just wanted to be clear on whether it was contingent on the sale or not, so thank you.
Mrs. Brotherton.
Yes. After thinking about this from our last meeting, Mr. Bostwick, I do want to take this opportunity to thank your parents for being residents for such a long time and keeping up with their taxes and what they need to do for the town. I think that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. I'm sorry for the hardship that your family has encountered. However, the property, in my eyes, is not conducive to us in the condition that it's in right now, as far as the town of Auburn goes. And it's not conducive for you in the way it is standing right now either. It's tying both sides of the party up. I would recommend that we redeem the property back. I also believe, being in the medical field, Mass Health does certainly owe some money owed to them. And I think it would be in the best interest for your family and for the town of Auburn. My thoughts.
Is that in the form of a motion?
I can certainly put, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't know if any of the board members had anything else to say, so.
No, if we can make it a form of motion,
Okay.
we can leave it for discussion.
Okay, then at this point, I'd like to make a motion that we redeem the property at 12 William Street here in Auburn back to the family member, Ernest Bostwick.
Second.
Okay, and that's going to be, as it is, what we have here in front of us, to allow Mr. Bostwick to redeem the property located at 12 William Street for payment of back taxes and fees by 1 o'clock, December 4th, 2015. Is that agreed to? And
Yes, Mr. Chair.
okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Is there anything from administration?
Through the chair, I just want to make sure, I believe part of the motion also has to be to vacate the decree of foreclosure at Land Court after payment is received.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Just make sure that that's on the record.
All right, and you understand that also?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank you all because I do this for a living and I like doing good for people and doing well for myself at the same time, and he's deserving of it. And the property is going to be back on the tax rolls and in a lot better shape than you currently see it today.
Thank you. So the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Simone?
Was that added to the motion about removing the foreclosure?
Yes, do you want me to repeat it all again, Mr. Chair?
Yes, would you please?
Okay. I'd like to find my place. I'd like to make a motion to allow Mr. Bostwick to redeem the property located at 12 William Street for payment of back taxes and fees by 1 p.m. December 4th, 2015, unless otherwise agreed to be extended by the town manager. 2, to vacate the decree of foreclosure at land court after payment is received.
Second.
Okay. And that's also of the foreclosure, if there's any court costs, that'll be added to whatever fees there are. Okay. The motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you all for coming in tonight.
Thank you to all the members of the Board of Selectmen. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you and good luck.
Mr. Chairman, I see Lieutenant Harrigan is here. I assume she's here for item 8B. Make a motion to move that item up.
Okay, motion been made to move up Town Manager item 8B.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. 8B, it's required to request to declare surplus equipment from the police department. And we all should have a list in here of what equipment is to be moved. Is there any questions? It's a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria sedan, a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria sedan, and a 2005 Crown Victoria sedan. Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion that we declare these items as identified on the memo from Lieutenant Harrigan dated November 11th, 2015, as surplus.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Mr. Simonian.
Just one question. So when we say that they're going to be removed and discarded, so basically that's it? There's nothing, the town receives nothing from these at the point they're at? We're just, what, we dump them in a salvage yard, someone comes in?
Excuse me.
I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, like.
Sure. What our current plan is to scrap 2 out of the 3. There may be some interest in the 2005, so we're gonna see what that looks like, whether it's sold at propertyroom.com, on our auction site that the town has, to see what monies we can get from that, but anything that we do get gets turned back to the town into the general fund.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, the motion been made and seconded to declare this as surplus equipment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to move up Town Manager item 8C, and that's requested to declare surplus equipment for the DPW Highway Division.
So moved.
Mr. Carpenter.
I'll second Mrs. Goodrich's
Okay,
motion.
motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Through the chair, and I know Bill Coyle is here, DPW Director, but likewise, we have a request to declare surplus 2 vehicles in the Highway Division. As you can see, one is the 2000 Ford, the other is the 2003 Ford Expedition, and Mr. Coyle is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Chairman, I will thank both Lieutenant Harrigan and Mr. Coyle for being here, but it seems that their memos are more than sufficient for me to make a motion that we declare these surplus as identified on a memo from Assistant DPW Director Mitchell dated November 9th, 2015.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And thank you for coming tonight. Okay. Okay. Yep, why don't we do that?
That'd be great.
Can I have a motion to move up town manager item 8D?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is the update on the 2016 Package Out Golf Course fee schedule and holiday special season rates.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just wanted to bring you up to date on where we are and to share our website that we've designed with you today. In your memo, in your packet, there's a memo regarding this, so just for purposes of the public, number one, I want to thank the Packagug Golf Course Advisory Committee. They've worked very hard in a very short period of time. The members are Dave Roy, who was elected chair, Ron Otteson, who was elected vice chair, and Dick Cody. They've met several times, and they have recommended, and town administration has concurred with this recommendation, a greens fee schedule for 2016, which is attached in your packet. So I want to bring your attention to that, and later you'll see on the slideshow, but it is in your packet. Also, they've recommended a holiday special seasons pass, in which we've offered a reduced price season pass both for regular and for seniors who are identified as those 62 and over. As you'll see, there is a resident rate and a non-resident rate. Likewise, so the rates that you see on the holiday seasons pass are if purchased by January 1, 2016. So we're trying to get the word out to the community that we do have this package available. Right now, you can come into the Recreation and Culture Department on the first floor and purchase it. Hopefully, by the end of the week, we're working both to get the domain name for the website so that we can control that domain name, and Bill Coyle and Ed Kazanovich are working with the bank to have online payment made possible to go right into the revolving account for online payment. So just to point out, the passes, the seasons passes, we have, the committee recommended, and again, we agreed with this, to reduce the rates to try to encourage golfers to come back to the course. The resident rate for the season special, which expires January 1, after January 1, there is an extra $100 added to this. So until January 1, resident $695. These are not restricted passes, so that you can play at any point. Non-resident, $795. Seniors identified 62 plus, resident, $595. Senior non-resident, $695. Now, the member and spouse and the resident junior and non-resident junior, those rates will not change, but we have them on here because you can purchase them now. The member and spouse rate would be $1295 for a resident and $1395 for a non-resident. And the resident junior, which would be under 18, will be $150 for the season, and the non-resident junior, $200 for the season. Again, trying to encourage the youth of getting back to the golf course and having the opportunity to play at a reasonable price. After January 1, that price, again, on the resident and the senior regular goes up $100. The member and spouse will remain the same, and the resident junior and non-resident junior will remain the same. Also want to point out, in your packet, you have a couple of different, there's a logo. We had a nice, fun little contest. We had about 24 hours to come up with a logo because we had an opportunity to participate in an advertising special, and we literally had 24 hours. So we had a couple of our employees who are very good at graphic design go home that night and develop some ideas for us, and we laid them all out on the table, and we got together the next morning and chose a couple. And it turns out we had 2 employees who participated, and we chose one from each employee, not knowing they were not named. So Kathy Hansen actually designed one, and Assistant Chief Glenn Johnson designed one. So what we have here is, this is the logo that would be put on merchandise. So this would go on anything, shirts or bags or hats, and anything small that you may need to see the logo. And as you can see, Auburn, it's hard to see, it's blown up quite a bit here. Auburn is in the center. And this would be used for any type of letterhead or advertising. And we, it's in your packet on the memo, but we did have an opportunity to join in on Holden Landmark Corporation, which actually owns 5 publications: the Holden Landmark, the Millbury Sutton Chronicle, the Leominster Champion, the Grafton News, and Worcester Magazine. And they are running a promotional this year called the Ultimate Golf Card 2016 promotion, under which up to 12 courses will be featured, and they will sell 400 passes to cardholders who will have the opportunity to golf one time at the Packagug Golf Course, and we will have the opportunity and can and will require the rental of a golf cart. So we will have the golf cart rentals, and we hope that by having the one pass, that someone will come with 1, 2, or even 3 other players that day. So we needed to get these things done to make it into the publication. There'll be a full color spread that will be in these publications around early April, and then throughout the rest of the next couple months, they're promoting it fairly heavily. Also, I'll show you in a moment, but we do have a website that has been developed. I want to thank Amanda Gage and Mike Marino for working on it the last couple days, along with a number of other people internally to get the right information on this website. The website that's currently there now, it appears it has not been updated since maybe 2014. So Bill has worked with the current operators and management team, and they've been wonderful. They've been very good through the transition, I have to say. And they're very happy to allow us to take over the domain name. So we legally have to do that. So we're in the process of getting that done. We, again, will have the ability to purchase seasons passes online. We've also been developing plans for the updating of the course itself, as well as the building, I believe, starting in somewhere in December, maybe early January. DPW facility management will be going into the actual building and doing some much-needed upgrades to the inside of the building. So it should be very nice, just cosmetic improvements, but it should look a lot better with a fresh coat of paint. And also developing plans for tournaments and leagues. And Bill, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Thank you, Julie. Mr. Chairman, we've been meeting with the committee on a weekly basis. There's a lot of work to get done, and especially before the snow flies, there's some work that we're trying to accomplish. So we had a meeting last week with the Conservation Commission, and we were granted approval to clear the vegetation and remove an old fence around the irrigation pond, which is kind of unsightly, and so we do have that approval. We also, a lot of trees, we walked the course several times over the past few weeks, and there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done with clearing vegetation, removal of dead trees, removal of limbs up to about 10 feet on the trees. So we expect to start that work a week from today. We'll begin work. The management company, Johnson, has been excellent to work with in the transition. They've been very helpful with us, and they've indicated they don't have a problem with us starting that work early, even though their contract still continues until the end of December. So that work is ongoing. As the town manager mentioned, we'll be starting in December, also renovating the inside of the clubhouse, and we've spent quite a bit of time just reviewing fees, calling other golf courses, and trying to come in with competitive fees to get people back. So I think our fees that we've come up with are very competitive, and we're hoping to get a lot of people back. There seems to be quite a bit of excitement from what we're hearing. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we've started with that, and we'll continue on with that. I know the town manager wanted to do a brief presentation on the website as well.
I'd like to see the trees and all the sand removed. It'll help my game a little bit.
Again, I just want to show you quickly. First of all, I want to point out the screen. Through the local cable committee, Chris Hugo worked with Mike Marino, from our IT director, to get this screen up. As you recall, we had a pull-down screen. It was very, very difficult for you to see, and it was certainly very difficult for the public to see whatever was up here. And it just wasn't portraying well on television. So we hope that this will be much easier for people. If you notice, we don't have to have a table with a projector set up here anymore. We don't have to worry about lighting. It goes directly from the laptop to the television here. And we think you'll find that it'll be easier. So I'm just going to show you really quick. Again, this website should probably go live by the end of the week. We're hoping to get the permission to get the domain name packachuggolfcourse.com. So as you can see, there's our logo, the Packagug Golf Course logo, and on the home page, as you can see, we've got some pictures, and obviously we can continue to update this as the course gets improved and we do more to it. We can add to this website. We've also got information here on the holiday special and the season's passes that are available that I just went through to you. Also some information about the course itself. and information a little bit on the history, how the course came to be. All through this, we keep putting out there that this is under new management, because we're hoping that people will see this and realize it's not the management that it has been for the last few years, that it's new management, and hopefully with it, a lot of new improvements. We have information on the greens fees, which I didn't go over when I was up there, but I just want to let you know that the committee did recommend a greens fees. So this is not the season's pass, this is the greens fees for the 2016 season. Again, reduced rates, trying to get people back to the course, and they're very, very competitive. So the senior, junior weekday for 9 holes would be $12, 18 holes, $20. The regular weekday, 9 holes, $13, 18 holes, $24. On a weekend or holiday, $15 for 9 holes, $25 for 18 holes. And the push cart rental per person, $5 for 9 holes, $10 for 18. And finally, the golf cart rental per person, $10 for 9 holes and $18 for 18 holes. So we're hoping that this will be attractive and bring people back to the course. Everything else that right now we're putting in here that people can get in touch with us to set up leagues. There are also directions to the course that are synced in with Google, so you just have to type in your current location and directions will pop up from wherever you are. There is also under Contact Us, I just want to point out, we opened a new email account. It is info@packagugolfcourse.com, and right now anything coming into that will go to Kristen, Ken Fairbanks, and Bill Coyle, so we'll be able to get everything until we have a superintendent on site. And we did put something in here because it is on the current website. We liked it. We think it's nice to have it in here. It is a National Historic Landmark for the Robert Goddard launching site, so that information is in here as well. It's nice to have the history, and there are some revolving pictures here as well. So again, we hope to have this up and running. We're hoping for so-called Black Friday to have it ready. Just want to encourage all your friends and family and town employees, buy golf passes. The rates are until January 1st. You can get the season's passes, and then just keep in mind, we're also, I should add one more thing, we're selling gift certificates in denominations, a minimum amount of $12, because $12 is the minimum cost for a junior to play. So if you want to give, they make great stocking stuffers. If you want to give a birthday gift, if you want to give it in any denomination, you'll be able to purchase those as well. You can use them for merchandise, tea times, golf cart rentals, and they make great gifts. So lastly, there is, as you can see, in the bottom left, we've also added a live weather, which is a live weather feed, to Weather Underground, which comes right from the golf course, and this is a specific application for golfing. And it actually tells the wind, what direction the wind is coming from, so for those who need to have this kind of information to make their swing better.
What are you trying to say?
The information is there if you'd like it. Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah.
So there, that's where we are with this. We've been promoting it heavily. We will be putting out information. Once the link is active and once you're able to pay online, that's when we're going to start really launching it out there, because we want people to be able to go directly to the website. We've presented it to the Chamber of Commerce so far. It will be on Auburn Community Television. It will be on our social media, links to our website, and we're working on linking to a lot of other domain names, which is another whole area. So if you type in Visit Auburn, Golf Central Mass, hopefully you'll get directed to our website.
The only other thing we made is the detention pond.
And I'll let Bill mention the detention pond. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Julie. The only other thing to mention also is part of the work that you're going to see on the golf course over the next several weeks and months is a detention pond that is being funded through MEMA. It's a $65,000 grant that we received through FEMA. That design is complete and it has had a field visit with conservation. They've given it a thumbs up. We're going out to bid with that. The timing of it is difficult just because it's a very wet area, and we're trying to get the work started as quickly as possible and take advantage of the winter season and have minimal disruption in the golf season. So we have that work as well. That's going to be on the fifth fairway, what I always refer to as the Grand Canyon. It's a real deep ditch, and it's down by the wooded area. So the intention generally is to protect the downstream abutters from flooding, but it's also going to improve the fairway as well. So I want to at least give you an update on that as well also. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody got anything else? Mr. Simonian.
I just have one question. So have we given any thought as to how the course is going to be policed? Because I understand in the past it's been a pretty substantial problem in the areas of the golf course that can't be seen from the clubhouse with people walking on, getting around paying greens fees. Obviously, we're not going to have a ranger up there, so, maybe a computer stamp ticket when you pay your greens fee that you have to produce or tie to your bag like other courses, proving that you've paid your greens fee in order to play. I'm just, I don't think people should be paying or playing free rounds on the taxpayer dollar. So.
Certainly, and through the chair, these are all things that we're going to be discussing over the next few months. At this point, we've established fees. We know that we have 90 hours per week budgeted to make sure we have cashiers there as early as we can have them and staying as late as possible. And we did talk about ranges, and right now we didn't feel there's a need for ranges. And Mr. Cody, who happens to be on the committee, lives across the street and said, you know what, I'll be out there, I'm going to watch them. If I see anybody, certainly I'll stop out and talk to them. But that's something, Mr. Simonian, that we're going to evaluate and look at if there's a need to do more. But certainly we'll take that into consideration over the next several months as we move forward in organizing all aspects of how we're going to manage this. But we are also going to have a security system as well. There's going to be cameras installed inside the clubhouse. Also, there's going to be cameras on the outside of the clubhouse, and we're looking to have a camera hopefully installed where all the equipment will be stored as well. So we're in the process working with Chris Hugo and Mike Marino on making that happen. So there's a lot going on right now, and certainly I'll keep that in mind as we have discussions with the committee. And again, we've been meeting every week, and there's a lot to talk about. And I got to say, they've done a wonderful job. All three of the members are extremely familiar with the course. They've been playing there for years, and they've been a tremendous help to the town. But
additionally, Mr. Chairman, I know there's been some discussion about the members who pay in advance having a photographic ID that would identify them as a paying member. Additionally, we talked about maybe utilizing, and some discussion we're going to have moving forward about utilizing some real estate tax work-off program individuals that may allow us to monitor the course in a ranger-type fashion, maybe coming out of the clubhouse and teeing off on the first tee. They would have to probably verify that they paid or have something to show that they paid for their greens fee. So that's something we have discussed, something we're looking into, and maybe we can do it, as I said, through the work-off program.
Yeah, I mean, if you have people buying memberships, I used to know people who lived on, I forget the street there that runs the area between the first green and the second tee. I used to see people walking through, hop the wall right in through the woods right there, and so.
Certainly, we're hoping to have somebody on staff at the clubhouse early enough that if we see anything like that going on, and again, we will have security cameras there. One of the cameras will be aimed out into the first fairway, but I appreciate what you're saying. Sure. And once we have the employees in place, we'll certainly speak to them to make sure that they're watching for those things that could happen. But again, we're hoping that they're going to be there early when the sun comes up, or shortly thereafter, that anyone who's trying to walk on, that they're going to be seen by our staff. But I'll pass that point along.
Thank you.
And typically, on a normal day, they're cutting the greens and cutting the fairways in the early morning so they don't interfere with play. that's the time that individuals tend to maybe try to jump onto a course or sneak on. It's difficult to do during normal play because there are groups on every hole. So for them to slide in would make it, it would back everything up. So, we'll have something in place to monitor that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got anything else? Okay, thank you. I will entertain a motion to move up Town Manager item 8E.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. And Mrs. Coyle, this is the Animal Shelter Open House. Would you come forward, please? You can come up and sit with us if you like, please.
Hello. Thank you so much for moving the agenda item up. So we're very excited to inform you that the Kathy Sabina Animal Compound is going to have a holiday open house. The Animal Control Officer, Amy Contois, and myself have been working with Julie and Ed to put together a basically, it's kind of a meet and greet to be able to meet the animal control officer, to see the renovations that DPW has done over the past several months. We've had the shelter, obviously, is a couple years old. There have been some things that needed some repairs. And so over the past several weeks, we have given Jimmy and Tim from DPW a run for their money, having them fix items and putting a fresh coat of paint and just really kind of, working out the kinks. So we want to invite the public on Sunday, December 6th, to come down to the kennel and really kind of take a look. There's going to be some refreshments, some light refreshments, and there will be kind of an interaction area, activity area that people can, have a couple of games, and there may even be some holiday Mrs. Claus that may show up if she's not too busy. So there is, we're really excited about it. So we would encourage people from the community to come on down to meet our staff and take a look of the kennel. We're really proud of it, and it's a beautiful kennel. There's a lot of hard work that went into it, and we just want to keep it up and let the community see it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Great idea, Darlene, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's get back here. Okay, under 7B, discussion of potential vote on the remote participation. Has anybody got anything on the remote participation? Mrs. Brotherton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Boy, what a great topic we've had to work with. I'd like to start by saying that I feel as though I've put a tremendous amount of time in here, and I feel comfortable saying that I've done my research. I am, however, going to start with me stating that I am not in favor of remote participation, and I'd like to state my reasons why. I think our residents deserve to see us face-to-face. I think we have lost contact with all of our future media, that there's no more eye-to-eye contact, there's no more handshakes, and I'd like to see that come back, number one. Most importantly, number one. Number two, I have looked up Robert's rules. I have been on websites between the Attorney General, previous Attorney General, current Mara Healy, and through some towns, I've done some extensive work. I'd like to read Robert's rules if I could entertain you for a minute. Disadvantages. Technical and equipment failures may occur. Electronic meetings are more impersonal and make it very difficult to create an atmosphere of easy rapport. Difficulties may be encountered in deciding complex issues that require negotiation. Members lack familiarity with the skills required to conduct such meetings. Greater member preparation is necessary for a productive teleconference meeting. Electronic meetings present difficulties in assigning the floor, determining the number of speakers in order of members. I unfortunately have an older model of Robert's Rules, so I did go online to make sure that I was current. Virtual meetings aren't ideal for every situation, so knowing when and how to utilize this approach is vital. By our ancestral roots in nature, we are tribal creatures. The impact and influence of our communications are undeniably stronger face-to-face in meetings with all the physical senses engaged as compared to interacting virtually, where we would lose 2 to 3 of these vital senses. Meeting etiquette and practices should adapt accordingly to make the most of this medium. In 2011, I believe that was the initial time when remote participation was brought to our attention. And at that point, we had asked for input from people. One of them was from a Miss Megan DePreet, who at that time was the manager of the Community Development and Planning from Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. Remote participation cannot count towards a quorum. Mara Healy, Attorney General Mara Healy. The Attorney General may by regulation or letter ruling, can authorize remote participation by members of a public body. There has to be a quorum of physical bodies in the room. So my understanding, and I was quite perplexed because if you look up some information, it indicates that they can vote and their vote does count, but you still need a physical quorum present at the meeting. That I have checked with the Attorney General's office to make sure this is correct. I firmly believe that maybe down the road, this might be a possibility. Unfortunately, I think it's sad, and maybe we do need to look at alternative members. I think we have made a promise to our residents to represent our town, and I think we need to represent our town and be accessible and be approachable. I know, Mr. Simone, you get approached quite a bit, and I don't think you would want to lose that contact with people being able to come up and face you face-to-face when it concerns something. I think if we took the oath for an office, we should make every effort to be there. And with that, I'll let someone else speak.
Thank you, Mrs. Brotherton. Anything else? Mr. Simonian.
Yeah, this is not something that anyone is planning on doing for every meeting. I mean, the way it's been discussed, the way it was presented to us was a once-in-a-while thing. And if you don't have a physical quorum, then there's no need for remote participation anyway.
Exactly.
So it doesn't, I mean, I don't really see what that has to do with anything, but I mean, if someone needs to do it once or twice a year, I don't see what the big deal is. They're not removing themselves from any responsibility that they've taken an oath or, said, yeah, I would like to be part of the planning board. So, I mean, they're still going to be accountable. They're still going to be accessible. Like I've said it a million times, it's 2015. The technology is there. I don't understand why people don't want to embrace it. it's not going to be an everyday thing. I wouldn't even want to put up with that. If someone ran for an office or someone asked to, said, hey, I'd like to be on the planning board or any other committee, and then turned around and said, hey, since I can participate remotely, I'm going to show up, maybe twice a year and the rest of the time. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely against it. But if it's once or twice so that the business of the people can be done, I don't see what the harm is.
Mrs. Brotherton.
Well, I'm a little concerned, Mr. Simonian, if that vote isn't counted. If you have to be physically there.
That's not what it's saying. It said you can't count as part of the quorum, but you can vote.
But you need a quorum to vote. If you don't have a quorum physically.
What I'm saying is if you have a 5-member board and 3 people happen to be sick, you don't have a quorum anyway. So it doesn't, if none of them can physically make it there, you don't have a quorum anyway. So no one's going to go, yeah, I'm going to participate remotely in a meeting that's not even going to happen because 3 other people can't make it. It doesn't it doesn't make sense to me. You're not you're not saying, yeah, I realize 3 other people won't be there, but I'm going to participate remotely. No, there's not even going to be a meeting because you're not going to have a quorum. So you would have to have at least 3 or however many members to make a quorum of any board or whatever for someone to even participate remotely. If you don't have that, if whatever reason, someone's out of town, someone's sick, someone has a family emergency, there's already not a quorum. So that other person going, oh, I was going to participate, it's a moot point. There's no need to even have that discussion. Their vote counts if a meeting happens. They're not, if there's not a quorum, then it doesn't make a difference.
But if we have a quorum, we don't need the remote participation.
But then you're saying, so that person says, hey, I want to participate, I want to be part of the meeting, I just can't physically be there. So you're going to say, well, we don't want you because you're going to participate remotely, we're just going to go with the 3 people we have. Then you're kind of like saying, yeah, it's not important for you to be here, which I disagree with. It is important.
Okay, Mrs. Brotherton.
Excuse me, Sharon, maybe you could help me out here. Have we just had one person come forth with a request for the possibility, to your knowledge?
Yes, as far as I know, there's only been...
Just one person has requested it for remote participation. I don't know, Mr. Simone, I think you've stated very well in the past that we really shouldn't be changing things for one person, but we can't...
I don't remember ever saying that, but I mean, things move forward, things change. That's been said here a million times. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to argue over it. I just...
Mrs. Goodrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as, I know that it was several years ago I took the position, but I still am not swayed or in supportive of remote participation at this point. But I would ask, because we did wait to take this vote until after town meeting to see if they authorized alternates. If the board does support remote participation, in our packet originally, we had some additional conditions that would apply. We had 7 conditions that we would have recommended apply. I would ask that if there is a majority vote tonight in support of this, that you look at number 4, which says no member shall be allowed to participate remotely more than 5 times per term if the term is 3 years. No member shall be allowed to participate remotely more than 2 times per fiscal year. I would ask that we change number 4 to be no member shall be allowed to participate more than 3 times per term and then no more than 2 times per fiscal year, and also add a number 8, which would read, if an alternate is available, that alternate shall be seated before remote participation is used. But as it stands right now, I don't feel that we've had a real strong request for remote participation. I think for regulatory boards, it's important that they have the documents that they need in front of them, true scale, and I don't support this, but if their majority does, I respectfully request that they include the comments that I just made.
Okay. Any further comments? Well, I have not been approached by anybody, and the only thing I have heard is through the board here saying that one person from the planning board has requested that there's a remote participation. With no other calls, my feeling is, like Mrs. Brotherton stated, that it should be face-to-face. We're representing, we should be here, and that's my feeling. But I have not received any other comments, requests, questions on any of the remote participation. And my feeling is it'd be unfortunate for an illness. It'd be unfortunate for any type of a family emergency type of thing, that and that person would not be focusing anyway on that meeting. For a vacation or for just general, I can't make it those nights, but I can be here, and so I can, that doesn't suit me, and I would rather have those people available, and especially with the regulatory boards. I don't think, even with the technology, that there could be some last-minute information come forward, whether it be charts, graphs, maps, any kind of specific specifications for whatever job, and it could be costly, not only to the town, but it could also be costly to those individuals coming forward saying, well, we haven't got enough here, I haven't got enough information, we got to look at, so we delay it even just that much further. I don't support this remote participation. Thank you. Mr. Carpenter.
I just want to say that I appreciate the board taking this up. As I said, I think I'm the only one who's actually served on not one but two regulatory boards, so I do know the challenge. I do want to correct the record. Mr. Rothra did come before us, but the planning board also followed up with a letter, so it was a board request, not just Mr. Rothra requesting it. And I believe a member of this board asked him to do that. I too, because the costs associated on the town side to equip the room, am not in favor of it. The fact that there's been no rush to the door or to the phone saying, we need this. It seems to me that now that we have an alternate, which I appreciate the town meeting and the administration supporting that, because that is something that I had wanted when I was on the board many years ago. So I think that will perhaps address the problem with absenteeism. So I would rather see us look at that, see if there's a continuing problem or a continuing concern on behalf of the planning board or other committees, and we'll see where we can go from there. But I appreciate the board taking the time. I think we had a good discussion. I think we came up with a lot of good ideas if it should get adopted in the future. So I don't feel that anything has been wasted. I think we've actually worked together as a board for the first time since I got elected. So I'm very appreciative of that, and appreciative of all the effort put forth by the administration and by the fellow board members. So thank you very much.
If there's no further discussion, I'll ask for a motion.
I will make a motion that we, at this time, that we do not adopt this remote participation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's a vote. Thank you.
I'm opposed.
Okay, under gift acceptances, we have one. It's an anonymous gift to the Fire Rescue Department for $25 to the gift account.
Motion to accept with gratitude.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We have one, let's see. All right, from Paul Volings of $50 to the Fire Rescue Department, a gift account of $50.
Motion to accept with gratitude, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And then Sheila Conroy, 290 Prospect Street in Auburn.
Town employee.
I'm sorry, yeah, thank you, and town employee from the Department of Inspectional Services. Beg pardon?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, it's a dryer valued at $200, and it's a linen dryer for use at the animal control shelter.
Make a motion that we accept with gratitude.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we have no proclamations for tonight. Report by the Subcommittee on Board Policies. And I'll turn that over to Mrs. Goodrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we discussed this at a previous meeting. We had some notes that we brought back and took into consideration a couple of the requests for board and committee interview process. The first being number one, a discussion on the attendance. So what we could do is ask for the attendance record from the chairman of the committee, if, for reappointments. And what we added in the interview process was, excuse me, we increased on B, we increased it from 1 question to 2, and number C added the additional 2 questions. So I think that we really took back what the board asked us to and came back with a good document. And respectfully request that the board adopt this as their interview process.
Okay. Any comments? Mr. Simonian.
Just one. The first 3 questions, in the interest of saving time during the interview process, because, sometimes they can, if there's several people, it seems like, I don't know, we could just put those 3 questions on a form, because we usually get background information anyway. On most of the applicants, we already have a form that asks for a certain amount of information, so I'm just thinking in the interest of saving time, those are going to be 3 common questions that are asked of everyone. I'd rather just see it on a form and go, okay, fine, and move on to, the actual questions that board members have.
Mrs. Goodrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there's an application for all, excuse me, boards and commissions, so it wouldn't be appropriate to put these on, but it was our intent, and maybe it's not clear here, but any applicant would be given these 3 questions in advance. It's part of our policy, so it's a public document anyway, but we would give them those, and they would know that they were coming in, being asked those questions, and then additional questions by the board. I think in looking at our notes and people hearing what the information the board wanted, they can give us as much information as we need in these 3 questions, especially if they have time to respond, have advance notice of the questions. So they would be given those questions in advance.
Mr. Carpenter.
So that would be part of the application, Mrs. Goodrich, or there'd be a separate, maybe like in a packet for them once they apply?
Yes, because it couldn't be part of the application, because all, the application is for all boards and commissions, and someone may check off Finance Committee and Zoning Board of Appeals, so it's not a separate application. So if someone came in and applied for which are under our authority, the Zoning Board of Appeals and Finance, then they would be given these questions at that time, or at a time as soon as possible after their application comes in.
But they'd still be answering them?
Answering them publicly, yes. In our discussions in the subcommittee, it was, we don't want people to be uncomfortable coming before. People don't like to come in and be on television and answer questions anyway. We want to encourage them to participate in these boards and commissions without making them uncomfortable through the interview process. I think if they have a sense that, they can open up and share with us what they want about serving on this committee, and may have a couple additional questions. And again, it was, lengthy discussion with Mrs. Brotherton and myself, that we think we'll have more applicants, because it's not a gotcha type of thing, or, you're on the hot seat. You're volunteering for very important boards. We want to treat you with respect, and I think this gives that opportunity.
And I like that idea of presenting that. It is very difficult for some people. They want to do the work, they like to sit back, they get their work done, but now I've got to be in front of the cameras, I've got to be questioned all this, and, you know, that third degree does not work for a lot of people, makes them very uncomfortable, so we'll not bring them forward, but I think with a document like we have here, I think will help those people to come forward.
Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Carpenter.
Can I just make a suggestion then that we put some language in this, if we adopt it, that this will be given out ahead of time so that it's clear? Because right now, that was one thing that I was thinking of asking, but maybe we could have, you know, I don't know if you need to renumber or whatever, just so that it's clear that this is to be given out to.
So I can change Mr. Carpenter, if we're going to take a vote on it tonight. Under 2A, applicant will be given the following questions prior to interview.
To the interview, very good. And is this going to, in the off chance, just as a follow-up question, when we have a resignation from an elected board, is this going to apply to them as well, or?
I don't know, have we got any more elected officials that are running out their term, or is this all appointments now? I've kind of lost track of that since the charter.
Through the chair, it's all appointments at this point forward. I believe Mr. Carpenter may be referring to potentially an elected official who steps down.
Exactly.
I know since I've been here, you had to do that once on the Library Board of Trustees.
And the school committee as well.
And school committee.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that would be.
So this would be something that we would do? Okay.
Okay, is there any other discussion? What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd make a motion that we adopt this as a policy.
With the additions discussed tonight?
Yes.
Just the clarification of being given prior to the interview.
Okay, motion been made?
Second.
Second? Okay. Sharon, have you got the motion? Okay, so the motion been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And now for update on the entertainment policy.
Just the second one I'll take as well, just to give the board an update. This is this will be a pretty comprehensive policy. I mean, it's an outdoor entertainment policy. We're looking at times, locations, et cetera. We did have some feedback some very helpful feedback from the departments. We would rather do this right than rushed, and we're in November right now, so I don't think we'll have people knocking down our doors for, this is for, and it should read update on outdoor entertainment, because we currently have an indoor entertainment policy. So this is outdoor entertainment policy, and we assure the board will have something before the warmer weather comes around, and we have a request for one.
Okay. And then under draft policy for proclamations and recognitions.
I'm going to let Mrs. Brotherton take this, because she really did a lot of work on this, and we spoke at length in the subcommittee.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodrich. Through the chair, yes, we have worked very hard on this. It's a very difficult thing to really point down, but you do have, we came up with 3 levels of recognition. Highest being proclamations, second being citations, the third one being letters of appreciation. The criteria for each level: proclamations, and I'm reminding my peers that this is a draft, and you, Mr. Simonian, gave us very helpful information putting this together. I do want to acknowledge that, Mr. Simonian, thank you. Proclamations. Number 1, they're only for Auburn residents and/or Auburn events. Businesses that have been here for 25, 50 years continuous in the town of Auburn. An individual who performs a life-saving act other than a public safety worker. Any person receiving military honors that fall between Medal of Honor and the Purple Heart. An achievement at a national level. It can be a team or an individual. An achievement at the state level, individual or team. An Eagle Scout Award and a Girl Scout Golden Award. Those are what we have come up with for proclamations. Citations. A, ribbon cutting grand openings. wedding anniversaries that have, couples that have been married 50 years or more, we would like one of the recipients being a lifetime resident of Auburn. By request, a 90th, 95th, or 100th birthday of a town resident. Letters of appreciation would include reinvestment of abandoned, foreclosed, or existing businesses. B, anything else as appropriate that could come to the board, approved by majority vote. And if I may, Mrs. Goodrich, I think, and Mr. Holstrom, I'm going to drop it there to come with input.
Okay. Mrs. Goodrich, please.
Just for clarification, so the proclamation would be similar to the existing proclamation where it has the, the very formal language of whereas, and there's much more language in it. The citation, and I apologize, I didn't get it finished on my computer because I'm not as good as graphics as some of our town employees, but it would be, the 8 by 10, Town of Auburn, Board of Selectmen, you would have the recipient, and it would just be very simple language. The Board of Selectmen wishes to recognize blah, blah, blah. And it would list all the Board of Selectmen but be signed by the chair, and we wouldn't have the struggle of getting the signatures, but it would have the script signature of all the board. And then the letters would be written as, we would have a standard letter like we did for Holiday Inn Express for their, that we did recently. So there, Sharon wouldn't be struggling with these letters all the time, but we would have a couple standard letters of appreciation. And also on B, it would be, we may get a request to recognize something that we haven't thought of, and it would be a majority of vote. And we did a lot of research on this again, Mr. Chairman, and we are excited to present this.
It shows there was a lot of work put into this. Has anybody got any questions on this? Mr. Carpenter?
I just want to express my appreciation for all the work. It looks great. I agree with most of it. I'm not prepared to vote on it tonight because I do believe proclamations, I think, is a value for our volunteers. There should be recognition, other than a letter of appreciation, for their service, especially people who have put in considerable time. I know that that's a lightning point or whatever with other board members, but that's something that I really feel is so important that this board encourages and recognizes volunteers in a special way. I do like the general, getting together once a year to try and get people to understand that it's not just a person, that it's a collective we. So I do appreciate that, but I'm really struggling with that because I do believe that that's something we should do, and it's a value that we should express as a board at the highest level. So.
Okay. Mrs. Goodrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, just to Mr. Carpenter, and we didn't get into, and it does tie in. So are you saying, which we haven't discussed yet, but you just mentioned the recognition of town employees and boards and commission members, at that time recognize them with a citation or a proclamation?
I haven't thought that far ahead, but that certainly would be something that could enhance that particular event.
Because this proposal here at the top, just to be clear, and again, they'll both need discussion, this proposal at the top for proclamations and recognitions is for proclamations and recognitions for everything with the exception of town employees and boards and commission members.
Right. And that's something I think we should have included in proclamations as an option. Obviously, it's going to be an exceptional individual who's put a lot of time in. Something that came up. Sometimes we have citations from the state legislatures. Other honorees don't get that. I think that should also be in the policy that if one person is going to get something from a state legislator, that we should request it when we're giving a proclamation so that people don't feel left out or that they're not, that the board isn't fully in support of their proclamation. And I have gotten that feedback from a couple people who have been awarded and noticed that others hadn't been. So it's certainly up to the individual office holder whether they choose to do so or not, but I do think that that should be something that we request so that we are as uniform as possible when we do make proclamations, if we're going to even adopt that inclusion for town staff and volunteers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Is there anything else? Any suggestions, questions, comments? Mr. Simonian?
Yep, on the proclamation, section D, just, it's really, instead of that fall between, kind of nitpicky, but to include Medal of Honor, Purple Heart, and all medals in between, because it seems like you're only including the ones that fall in between, which
Yeah, no,
might have been the
I think
language
that's the
I sent it
language
to
that
you
you
in.
did, yeah, so we
Yes.
wanted to make sure,
it's
because you
always
know...
easier to critique your own stuff after you read it
Okay.
the second time.
So any person receiving many military or honors
Just to include those two as well, not just...
to include the Medal of Honor, the Purple Heart, and
All in-
any that may fall
Yeah,
in that.
there's a hierarchy of...
Yes, okay. All right, we'll make sure. Certainly it's up to the chairman, but Mr. Carpenter said he's not prepared to vote on this tonight. We can just kind of tweak the language if the chairman would like us to do that.
I have no problem sending this back to the subcommittee just for some readjustments, and I won't put a time period on it. Just whenever you get a chance to get back to it, just bring it back when you have the time, especially with the holiday season coming up. What's the wish of the committee, the board?
Make a motion that we refer this back to the subcommittee for refinement.
Okay, motion been made. Mr. Simonian.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, second?
Yeah, I just have one, just a question of clarification. Can you go over that, what you were talking about regarding the people who receive state-level awards and...
Well, we've had them here, where state legislators have, in addition to our proclamation, given the honoree a citation from the House and from the Senate.
Yeah.
And others have not gotten that honor. So, not that they're boo-hooing or complaining, they're grateful for the recognition from us, but when you see one person get it, you start to wonder, is the board fully in support? That's the feedback I got. Was the board fully in support of this? Is this are we doing this for certain people and not for others? And it should be as uniform as possible. I don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe that's the case at all, and I always make that comment. Individual office holders are going to do whatever they can do when they're available, and sometimes either the information doesn't get to them in time, or, they just don't have the time to do it. So, I certainly wouldn't, it's not intended as a criticism, it's just a comment, feedback I got back.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very sorry to hear that, Mr. Carpenter, and I'm hoping that having a policy in place won't allow for any of those gaps, and that everyone is treated evenly and uniformly. And I'm hoping that the policy will help avoid any of those mishaps in the future.
Mrs. Goodrich, you have something?
I just, and again, I hate to wear the two hats in one meeting, but I can speak to the Senator's office. All proclamations that come out of the Senator's office are by request. It's information that's come to the Senator by request, and we work closely with the Representative's office to be sure that their office is aware. I can say recently that, that the Senator sent out correspondence to all of the towns asking that if someone's going to be recognized, that they'd be made aware, because his office is sometimes, made aware that there's a firefighter retiring after 39 years, and a proclamation request has come in, and then the following week, in reading the newspaper, we see that, a 34-year police officer in another community was recognized, and we're reading about it in the newspaper. So it is difficult to have that consistency, because the proclamation, the Senate citations can only be provided with the information that comes into the office, and it's done by request.
Mr. Simonian?
Yeah, I just want to finish that thought. And what Mrs. Goodrich said just makes absolute sense to me. Number one, we don't have any control over what the state representative or the state senator do. I can certainly see how they have a million things to do. I'm sure they try to recognize. I don't want to, I don't know, to me that just seems kind of piddly. I got to be honest with you. And I'm not directing that at you, but I would, if I were brought here as a resident of Auburn, I would be thankful for whatever recognition was given to me, rather than speak to what I didn't get. I'm kind of disappointed, truthfully, that someone would actually call that out. I'm sure that Senator Moore and Representative Frost make every effort they can to recognize people. And again, I don't direct this at you, Mr. Carpenter, in any way, shape, or form. I just got to say that publicly. I'm just disappointed. Be thankful that you're recognized. And I'm sure that, you know, as Mrs. Goodrich said, if they find out after the fact, because a town, something slipped through the cracks, I'm sure they make an effort to send something out, but I don't know.
Hey, Mr. Carpenter?
Just one last, and I do want to make it clear that the people who said that also, and I did say this so that everybody knows, they are appreciative. And they're not, as I said, they're not crying about it, but it does make one wonder. And while, yes, that's why I suggested we notify the state office holders, and if they can, they can. If they can't, that's entirely up to them. We have had some discussions up here from members that have gotten back to honorees, and the language that has been used is, to me, is disturbing. It seems reticence on behalf of certain people, and you know, everybody has the right to their opinion.
Sure.
But I don't think that we should be playing that out in public, personally.
Thank you. Mrs. Goodrich?
One last comment, Mr. Chairman. Just, you know, I would agree, like, if we're going to present a proclamation, I think it would be nice if we were able to send notification. I mean, especially where we're limiting, excuse me, the number of proclamations at this point. I wouldn't include citations or letters of appreciation, but, you know, I think it would be nice to notify the legislature that we are recognizing someone publicly at a meeting. I don't think it needs to be included in the policy, but out of a courtesy to let them know so that they don't read about it in the paper. Okay. But I just wanted to make the point where no one's being slighted. I don't want someone, you know, because I do work for that office, I don't want someone to think like, you know, the senator chose to recognize this person and not this person. It's all by request.
Mrs. Brotherton.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I purposely left out the recognition. That would be 7-4. I think we certainly have touched on it. I'm not quite sure, and maybe I need to be reminded, was that voted in for that letter of recognition? For the residents requesting all employee, board, and commission recognitions to be held one time per year during National Public Service Recognition Week, which is the first week in May 1st through 7th in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't discussed, and I was going to leave this. The motion's been made and seconded to send it back to the subcommittee, but we're still under discussion. The document hasn't been completed yet, so I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things I didn't mention, want to mention though, is May 1st through the 7th in 2016 is that National Public Service Recognition Week.
Yes.
And that is a national.
Yes.
Okay. And you were saying from Monday, May 2nd, from 6 to 7, a small reception. That's great. That would be not on our, usually on a Monday for a selectmen's meeting.
Correct.
That would be the first week of May.
Because it falls in that
Okay.
week.
Because it falls on that.
Just so we want to be sure of what your thought was on it.
And then at any point, Mr. Chairman, if anyone needed a recopy of the public service letter, what I can do is I'll make sure it's included in the next meeting.
Okay, would you please?
Yes.
And I'll have a draft of the template for the citations.
All right, great. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, just one last thing. So on that comment regarding the May 2nd, that would be a meeting outside of the typical Board of Select meeting, just to have that recognition?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a meeting night for us.
Just because it happens to fall on that week. You know, it happens to, the National Public Service recognition falls that week, and we wanted to make sure it fell within that week.
Okay. Okay, so there's no further discussion. A motion's been made and seconded to send it back to the subcommittee. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. And there's no time limit on that. It's just whenever you get a chance to get back to
Yeah,
us.
so we're going to take both back.
Okay, all right, the draft policy for recognition, that's at the bottom of that.
Yeah, we're going to take both of those back.
Yeah, okay. All right, discussion on the meeting, 5th Monday of November 30th, that's the Monday after the holiday. Do we have any hearings coming up or anything scheduled that we need to have done? There's nothing. You foresee anything coming in? No. Okay. So nothing coming in, we might want to take that 5th week off. Your pleasure.
Make a motion that we do not hold the meeting on Monday, November 30th, unless there is a reason for us to appear.
Okay, motion been made. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Just under discussion, Mr. Chairman, if there's a need for us to be here, I won't be here.
Okay.
Neither will I.
I'm having a day surgery.
Okay, all right, then, so we will not have a meeting on the 5th.
Unless we
on the
need
5th Monday. That'll be November 30th. So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Our next meeting will be on, what was it we said?
December 14th.
December 14th, okay. Now, one of the town manager items, we got first off the Auburn Chamber of Commerce Town of Auburn 2015 Business Survey.
Thank you.
Ms. Jacobson.
Thank you. This is just a quick reminder to the business community in Auburn that we do have a survey available online at the Chamber's website on auburnchamberma.org. And it's right on their homepage, and you can go on it. Literally just takes a few minutes. We would love to have a lot of input. We worked with the Auburn Chamber as well as the town to come up with the survey questions. We're just trying to see what challenges are out there for businesses, what we can do to improve to make it easier for them, what they may need, not just from the town perspective, but from the Chamber of Commerce perspective. Are there any programs or services that they want the Chamber to provide for them? So we are asking everybody to take the survey by the end of November, just so we can start to put our results together. Clearly, if we receive some, shortly thereafter, I'm sure we could incorporate it, but we'd like to try to set a deadline to encourage people to participate.
Okay, thank you. Okay, under town manager items, we have the tree lighting.
Right, this is just these next three, Mr. Chair, if I can just quickly go through it
Yes,
for
would you please?
Just to let the public know, the fourth annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony is Friday, December 4th at 6 p.m. Next to Fire Station Headquarters. And again, we have a sing-along and caroling with the Auburn High School Band that will be there. Reverend Dennis Knight will give the invocation. Obviously, the special guest appearance by Santa is the big highlight of the evening. And as usual, hot cocoa, coffee, and cookies that are going to be provided by the Bay Path Regional Vocational Technical High School. We have some volunteers this year through the Girl Scouts, too, and it's just become a really nice community event. So we look forward to it, and I would just want to make sure we thank Stearns Electric because they donated their time and labor to stringing the lights on the tree for us again this year. It is a large job to get done, and due to last year's storm, we did have some damage to some of the bulbs, so thank you to Stearns Electric. Next one, just quickly, the third annual Holiday Craft Fair is going to be held Saturday, December 12th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Auburn High School. And I believe as of the other day, we actually had over 60 craft vendors that had signed up. When we put this flyer together, we had about 50. Last year, we had somewhere in the area of 70 to 80. So it's very well attended by vendors. There's a great array of things, and we really encourage you to go down there. It's really fun. There's something for the kids to do. There's face painting. There's a drawing. There's a concession stand that's run by the Friends of Auburn Music Education through the school. So it's just a really nice community event, so we encourage you to go. And lastly, our 7th annual Light of Auburn contest. The nominations are due in by December 14th, which is a Monday, and those go to I believe it goes to Kristen Pappas, and her email address, for those who want to email them, kpappas@town.auburn.ma.us, or you can contact her at 508-832-7736. No cost to enter. Judging will take place outside of your home or business, and they'll announce the winners after the week of December 14th. So we encourage everyone to participate if you're interested. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, we have no tabled items, no Board of Selectmen member items. Under public comments, is there any? I'd just like to make one note that Wednesday night at the First Congregational Church will be the ecumenical service for Thanksgiving, where Roger Bellumer, our retired fire chief and former emergency management director, will be honored with the Riley Award. And that will be again at the First Congregational Church at 7 o'clock. 7:30?
I believe it's 7.
At 7 o'clock?
I think it's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay. Okay. Yes, Mr. Simonian.
Are there board members who will be attending that? I have a previous commitment that I've had for...
I will be there, yeah.
I just asked you to pass on my congratulations to Mr. Bellumer, because I won't be able to attend, so...
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else by the board? Okay, I have minutes in front of us from May 26, 2015. Questions, comments? If not, I'll...
Just briefly, Thursday, obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and to put this out there, the season's coming up, everyone's aware of what's going on, so large gatherings, things of that nature, please keep an eye open, keep your neighbors safe, keep your family safe, keep yourself safe.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll accept the minutes as presented. And on that note...
Motion to adjourn and watch the pass.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving and good night.
Good night.